I'm fighting Gervonta Davis on Netflix.
Let's go.
People think that he could actually beat me, and people think he could outbox me, and he's so powerful and this and that. That's what makes it a good fight. November 14th, Netflix.
Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis already had fans buzzing with wild antics, clown props, non-stop trash talk, and even a $2 million side bet. But what really went down after the cameras stopped rolling? That's where things got intense. Backstage, chaos broke out. Shouting matches, threats flying, and face-to-face tension so heavy that security had to jump in before it exploded into a real fight. And what was said behind those doors? It changes everything we thought we knew about this rivalry. Because now, it's not just about Jake's size or Tank's power. It's about pride, ego, and who's willing to go further when the lights aren't on. Let's rewind. Jake Paul, standing tall at 6 feet 1 inch, came into the press conference armed with props. He clowned Tank's height, calling him an 8-year-old sparring partner, brought out literal clowns to mock his mohawk, and even took shots at Davis's past legal troubles, turning the whole event into pure chaos.
Holy shit, Jake Paul versus Tank Davis is actually happening. What the f is going on? I guess Tank is going broke because that's the only justifiable reason you ruin your legacy against a guy like Jake Paul. And yes, I do think Jake Paul is going to win. Tank Davis is a much better boxer and has crazy power, but he's 5'5", 130. That power is not going to carry over against someone who is 6'1", 210. And it's not like Jake is bad. Yes, his fights are boring. He says he's going to step in the ring and sleep his opponents, but the only people who end up sleeping are the audience. Mike Tyson fight, but at the end of the day, he's a big guy with power who's training boxing full-time, and he has beaten some legitimate competition. Woodley, Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, Mike Perry had a competitive fight with Tommy Fury, but it's crazy how particular Jake has to be when selecting his opponents. They have to have enough clout to be interesting, enough skill to be taken seriously as a threat, but at the same time have clear weaknesses and disadvantages that Jake and his team can exploit to win. Now that he's fighting an elite boxer, he has to fight someone 7 weight classes down. I mean, Tank could win if he makes Jake do a very aggressive weight cut, but I just don't see that happening. I got Jake by 3rd round TKO. He should put me on the co-main event and allow me to fight Francis Ngannou. That would be an easy first round knockout for myself.
Gervonta mostly kept his cool until Jake crossed the line with his domestic violence jabs, and that's when everything changed. Tank snapped, firing back with threats not just toward Jake, but also his trainer, Julian Love. The tension skyrocketed instantly, and what had been playful trash talk turned personal. Fans could see it in Tank's eyes. This wasn't about promotion anymore. It was about respect, and the moment Jake dragged his past into it, Gervonta made it clear he wasn't going to let anyone play with his name.
For all of you Karens who accuse me of being on steroids as the reason for winning all of my fights, we have the strictest drug testing possible for this match. U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. Random drug tests at any moment. Oh look, they're here now.
Hey, you saw that? Me in the car. Looking good. See if you're on steroids. Clean as a whistle, contrary to what they say.
When they finally faced off, Jake looked down at Tank like a big brother bullying a kid. Tank shoved. Jake shoved back. Security dragged them apart, but the cameras missed what came next. Backstage, it turned deadly personal. Witnesses say Tank stormed straight to Jake's locker yelling, "Keep my name out of your mouth when it comes to family. You bring my people into this, and I'll put you to sleep before November." And Jake snapped back. "You're lucky this fight's on Netflix, or I'd end your career in this hallway," forcing crew members to wedge themselves between them as the tension exploded. Jake's team laughed it off. Tank's crew didn't. For a heartbeat, it looked like fists were inevitable, and shockingly, Jake Paul was the one who ultimately stopped it from getting physical.
Do you think that it's fair to call them boxers now? We're talking about Logan Brothers.
I think it's okay to call Jake Paul a boxer. The only reason why I say that is because he do be in the gym. He's breaking on stuff. The fight that he fought Mike Tyson, I don't think he should have fought Mike Tyson because of who Mike Tyson is and the age. And he said that he didn't try to knock him out. Yes, you did. You just couldn't get the knockout. Like, he tried to knock him out for sure.
And here's the kicker. Fans actually caught parts of the chaos on their phones, and now those clips are flooding social media. You can see Tank pointing his finger inches from Jake's face, while Jake just stands there smirking like he's untouchable. But what's behind all this heat?
For Tank, it's about respect.
He's one of boxing's most feared knockout artists, a multi-division world champion who's dropped real killers in the ring. And now, out of nowhere, Jake Paul, a YouTuber with more Instagram followers than knockouts, is clowning him on the biggest stage. For Tank, that's not just disrespect, it's a challenge to everything he's built his name on.
Who were you gonna call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
For Jake, it's all about validation. Every time he stepped into the ring, whether it was against Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, Anderson Silva, or even Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., people doubted him. They said he couldn't hang with real fighters, and every time, he proved them wrong. But facing Gervonta Tank Davis? That's his boldest move yet. Because if Jake can even survive against a pound-for-pound star like Tank, he doesn't just earn respect. He cements himself as something more than a YouTuber, more than an influencer, a real boxer chasing legacy.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
That's why the insults hit so hard, because this isn't just trash talk anymore. It's about legitimacy, pride, and who truly runs boxing right now. Both men are fighting for more than a win. They're fighting for their identity in the sport. Tank wants to remind the world he's the face of real boxing, the knockout king. Jake wants to prove he belongs among the elite, not just as a celebrity, but as a contender. So, who really runs boxing right now, Tank or Jake? That's the question everyone's arguing about, and the answer might just change the future of the sport.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
That's where things get crazy. The weight difference is unreal. Jake Paul fights at cruiserweight, tipping the scales at around 200 pounds in his last weigh-in. Tank Davis, on the other hand, is a lightweight, usually fighting around 135. That's a massive gap, nearly 65 pounds of difference. It's like Manny Pacquiao stepping in against someone 2 divisions above him. That's what makes this matchup so wild. Jake's got the size and reach. Tank's got the speed and knockout power. It's a collision that shouldn't even make sense, yet somehow, it does. Interview 8. Tank's a lightweight, 135 pounds on fight night, maybe 140 at most. Jake? He's walking in around 200. That's a 65-pound difference, and in boxing, that's insane. It's not just a gap, it's a whole different weight class universe. The question now is, how much will that matter once they're in the ring? Will Jake's size and power overwhelm Tank, or will Tank's speed and precision make that weight difference irrelevant?
Oh, nice double left hook by Roach to the body and then to the head. Right there it is. Oof. And, oh, Davis just got backed up with a counter right from Roach. That's a big moment in load with the left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaned with right. He took a knee. He took a knee. What is he doing? He forgot his... Nice combination from Roach. Oh, another right hand, another right left by Roach. Nice combination. Got just over around 11 as well. Maybe him getting cracked. Davis fighting on even terms here in the 11th. Both of them have landed. Has to keep doing that. Roach said the familiarity knows his weaknesses. It's one thing to say it.
The decision is a majority draw.
To balance things out, the commission officially labeled it an exhibition. 12-ounce gloves, a 195-pound catchweight limit. Still, even with those rules, Jake's going to be the much heavier man on fight night. And for all the Karens out there accusing him of being on PEDs or trying to rig the matchup, this setup actually proves the opposite. Jake's taking on a smaller, faster, more technical fighter in Tank Davis, knowing full well that one clean counter from Tank could change everything.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing in it. I think I was taking control. I think I was landing more shots. I think I was landing more power shots. And I thought I was doing my thing. So I'm not really that frustrated about that. But if that was kind of a knockdown, I will win a majority decision.
Fans online are roasting the matchup. One comment read, asterisk, this is like throwing a pit bull in with a grizzly bear. Asterisk another said, asterisk, Tank's got skills, but physics is undefeated. Asterisk, and Tank knows exactly what people are saying. Backstage, when Jake smirked about the weight difference, Tank snapped right back. Asterisk, size don't matter when you're asleep on the canvas. Asterisk still, it would be a brutal sight if Tank Davis's legendary boxing career ended because he took on a man nearly 60 pounds.
Tank did that, so I know the got in his eye, but they should have countered it. They would have countered it, would have went to Lamont Roach. What I didn't like about Tank, he was gassing up Lamont Roach way too much, and he was already talking about like retiring.
He seemed a little distracted, didn't he, in the fight?
That wasn't the same Gervonta Davis we're really used to seeing.
It just lets you know how corrupt like these governing bodies are, bro. If that dude took a knee, not only did he take a knee, hold on real quick. Let me get this out of my eye. How is that not a point? Like,
you know, funny thing, bro, that's why I cut my braids off. I had braids, and I had the same thing. I went through the same when I fought Andre. That was burning my eyes, so I cut that off.
And this is where things get even messier. The Georgia State Commission straight up refused to host the fight, calling it asterisk the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Asterisk, that's why the whole event got moved to Florida. Critics are blasting it as a pure money grab. Exhibition rules, Netflix streaming rights, clown props at press conferences. It's starting to look less like a professional bout and more like a full-blown crossover spectacle. Still, anyone in that position would have taken the deal. The money, the spotlight, and the chance to shake up the entire boxing world.
Already signed. My first contract is signed for immediate rematch in the case of a draw or if I win. So I'm already contractually signed to a rematch. It's on him. I hope we can get it done because I want to show the world again that that wasn't a fluke.
They're talking like they wouldn't take that kind of money, but let's be real, nobody's turning down that payday. And here's the twist. That's exactly what makes this fight so brilliant. Netflix's first major boxing stream, Tyson vs. Jake Paul, pulled in over 65 million live viewers worldwide. If Jake vs. Tank even comes close to that, it'll shatter records. Love it or hate it, everyone's going to tune in. Because this isn't just a fight anymore, it's a global event, a clash of worlds, and whether you're rooting for Jake or praying for Tank to humble him, you'll still be watching when that bell rings.